It has a different name in each season, but Mt Kumgang's spring title is the one we generally hear when people speak of Diamond Mountain. Rich in legends, appearing in art through the ages, it's no wonder so many Koreans treasure Mt Kumgang. 20 years ago last Sunday, it became possible for people from the south to travel across the border and see the mountain on the north's east coast for themselves. It was a tour program that preceded the first ever Inter-Korean summit and helped spur closer ties. Its suspension a decade later coincided with a downturn in Seoul-Pyongyang relations. But given this year's upturn, could we see South Korean tourists return to Mt Kumgang in the near future? Well, that depends on a few things, but a lot hinges on the US. I'm Alex Jensen with K News Today for Korea Now. In fact, more than 100 South Koreans were allowed to visit the mountain last Sunday to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the tour program there. They included Hyundai Group executives because the conglomerate's late founder, Jong-un, was behind the initiative. Jong's daughter-in-law, Jong-un, was among the attendees at the first celebratory event of its kind at the resort in 4 years. It had become rather eerie of late, almost a ghost town after a long period of neglect. You may remember the area underwent some renovations before hosting August's rare inter-Korean family reunions, though, a brief glimmer of hope both for separated relatives and Mt Kumgang itself. The tour program there had been a key symbol of reconciliation between the Koreas, but it also cost Hyundai more than $1 billion amid efforts to turn the area into a world-class destination. The tour program did lure more than 2 million visitors from the south, drawn by Mt Kumgang's legendary status and some curious attractions, including a floating hotel that once operated over the Great Barrier Reef. So, what went wrong? Well, obviously there have been a number of incidents in recent years that soured inter-Korean ties and would have threatened the kind of cooperation required to run the Mt Kumgang project. The North's attacks in 2010, a series of nuclear tests and missile launches that eventually brought the joint Kaesong industrial complex to a close in 2016. But the trigger that led to the tour program suspension was the 2008 shooting of 53-year-old Park Wang-ja, a South Korean tourist who North Korea claims attempted to flee soldiers after entering a military area. Since the shuttering of tours from South Korea, the North has continued to seek visitors from other countries with limited success. Still, the two Koreas held a joint celebratory event at Mt Kumgang almost every year from 1999 to 2014, so the hiatus since then really reflects how bad relations became over the last 4 years. It's a positive, therefore, that after they met in September, President Jae-in and Chairman Jong-un agreed to reboot tours to Mt Kumgang when conditions are met. And that's the catch. We'll need to see progress in dialogue between the US and North Korea before Washington gives Seoul its full backing on inter-Korean cooperation. And while a second Donald Trump-Kim Jong-un summit is realistically hoped for sometime early next year, it's not certain. And even if it happens, there's doubt over whether the US will be satisfied by Pyongyang's commitment to denuclearization. It's certainly no surprise then that Hyundai chairwoman Hyun offered caution with her optimism after returning from Mt Kumgang this week. We are preparing so that the inter-Korean economic projects can be resumed when the US lifts sanctions, she told reporters, admitting the situation is difficult for the tour program to be resumed within this year. On a brighter note, she still said she thinks it will be done in the near future. Her company has the legacy of its founder to consider. Chung Ju-young was born in what is now North Korea, but became a business icon in the south. Hyundai will also want to ensure a stronger performance by the project if it reopens to South Koreans. It wasn't able to hit its target of 500,000 visitors annually, even in its heyday. It's said that almost every poet during the Joseon dynasty would visit Mt Kumgang. For too long, its winter name, Daegosan, which means Stone Bone Mountain, gave a closer impression of inter-Korean ties than a diamond. Yet, as both sides planted trees together in line with last Sunday's anniversary, you don't have to be a poet to recognize the symbolism there.